Yes, a warm welcome to today's talk. Today, Friday, the 15th of November 2024. There has been big announcements throughout the week in the new administration of the Trump government. We all know that he is a president-elect of the United States of America. Now, today I'm very much thrilled very happy to announce a very good initiative, a very bright upgrade in the health system of America and also the world at large. Today morning, Mr. Donald Trump made an announcement about his appointment of Kennedy Jr. as the new Secretary of Health and Human Services of the United States. And in his statement, he stated that this is going to make a big difference in the health system of America and also making America healthy again because there was so much infiltration of the industrial food complex and also coupled with drug companies who make a lot of toxic chemicals to be fed. So now, Mr. Kennedy Jr. has been a very big influence in this health system, and he was really so much optimistic of changing this. And let's first listen to what he had to say about the industrial food complex and the drug companies who are making people sick through their products in exchange of profits, which he was so much a big talk. And let's listen to what he had to say.
Innocently put into their bodies these days, and most alarmingly, into the bodies of their children. And it's no coincidence that Americans die earlier than Canadians or Germans or Italians or Japanese or Koreans or Australians or most any other comparable country. And it wasn't always that way. Until the early 1990s, our life expectancy was the same or better than other developed countries. Then suddenly, more and more Americans began suffering from chronic diseases, from obesity, cancer, diabetes, kidney disease, Alzheimer's, heart disease, and all kinds of autoimmune diseases. Our maternal mortality rate soared to the highest of any developed country on earth. Same with infant mortality. Like the frog in the slowly boiling water, we didn't really notice as we got sicker and sicker. We've grown now to accept chronic disease conditions as normal. But now, in 2024, we're finally waking up to this cataclysm and we're asking ourselves, how in the world did this happen? Well, a big part of it is our diet. Restaurants that serve contaminated food are fined or shut down. But when it's the government that approves the poisons in our food, a few people get very, very rich, and the toxins end up in every supermarket aisle. Let me show you what I mean. Doritos, Cheez-Its, Captain Crunch, gummy bears. Everyone knows that these are junk foods, so maybe you wouldn't be too surprised to see that the ingredients include a lot of poisons, including a harmful yellow dye called tartrazine, or yellow dye number 5. What you may not know is that this dye was originally made out of the sludge that's left over when you turn coal into coke for blast furnaces. It's called coal tar, and I've actually sued many big industries for legacy contamination of coal tar all around the country because it's so toxic and it's so harmful to the environment and human beings. A century ago, it was just an obnoxious industrial byproduct that everybody was trying to figure out ways to get rid of. One of the ways that they did that was by paving roads. But then a British chemist figured out that the coal tar could be used to derive fabric dye. And if fabric dye, why not food? Food manufacturers began using it to cover up the discoloration of low-quality foods that they wanted to pass off on unsuspecting customers. They didn't know back then that this yellow dye, tartrazine, causes tumors, asthma, developmental delays, neurological damage, ADD, ADHD, hormone disruption, gene damage, anxiety, depression, intestinal injuries. Well, we know it now. We've known this for decades. That's why tartrazine is heavily restricted in other countries. In some countries, foods with tartrazine have a warning label that it may cause ADHD in children. Today, it's made from petroleum, not coal tar. Either way, it's crazy to add this to your kids' favorite foods. It doesn't even change the flavor. This yellow dye isn't just in junk food. It's in the foods that we consider healthy. It's in everyday kids' snacks like popcorn, mac and cheese, fruit snacks. It's in sports drinks like Gatorade and so-called vitamin water. It's even added to chicken broth, to corn, to pickles, to mustard, and to yogurt. And so, of course, our kids get sick. And we lovingly feed them chewable vitamins which have, surprise, tartrazine. And so the cycle continues until the coughs and asthma kick in, at which point you go to pick up some cough syrup. And yeah, you guessed it, tartrazine. I've been picking on tartrazine today, but that's just one of at least 100 chemical poisons that our health agencies allow into our children's food. I can make a video just like this to talk about Red 40, BHA, BHD, potassium bromate, chemical after chemical, and on and on and on. If just one of them can cause all of these problems, imagine.
So now, that's not a big talk for today. I want us to ask ourselves, what plans do we have for the vulnerable, poor Africa? Because this chronic illness epidemic has also been so much hard in this part of the world, mostly the countries where we come from. And it's really going to be a very big challenge, and it has always been a very big health crisis and a burden managing the different non-communicable diseases, high cases of diabetes, especially among the children. It has been on the rise. In the early years, in the 1990s, you find it's very difficult to find a child who is suffering from diabetes mellitus, type 2 especially, and all other chronic illnesses, hypertension, cardiovascular disorders. But these days, it's really so much in the rise, even amongst the young generation. This is all because of the bad foods and the bad vaccines and also the drugs that people take into their bodies. And it's a result of a very big health influence by the elite countries in this world, who really have a very big influence on these poor, vulnerable parts of the world, because that's where most of our health services come from. We know very well that we don't have these drug companies who make these drugs, but they're all in those big developed countries. These drugs are made, these bad foods, the junky foods, with a lot of additives, with very many toxic chemicals which we really don't know much about. They are sent to our countries, we buy them, and in a way we make ourselves very sick, and also the children, the kids are getting sicker and sicker every day because of these bad supermarket foods, the big foods which are really made by very big rich companies, and it's just for the exchange of the profit, in the names of making profit. That's why we always keep on getting sick. Now, I would love to talk in the point of Africa, because these are big upgrades in the health system of the world, but I believe it's going to also make the whole world very healthy again. So every government must embrace this. This was a very hard decision by the American government. It has not been there for the past 20 years, but today a very big prophecy has been exalted, and it's really so much important that we appreciate the government of Trump for making this very big upgrade in the health system. So Africa should therefore take up these initiatives and also make some of these changes in their health system. We should not be held captive of the grants and the donation which these big countries give us, and also the big companies. We know they give a lot of money to these poor countries. So taking such a decision will be very difficult. But this needs desperation for the health of the citizen. We need to really make these decisions and ban these companies from making this food. Or we can go in a setting whereby we manage what they put in this company, in this food, and the vaccines, and also the different pharmaceutical products which are produced by this company. We need to regulate them. We cannot just be feeding our children on things which we really don't know where it comes from. We have seen supermarkets being flocked by a lot of bad things which no one talks about, because it's really so much profitable to the government through taxes and the rest. But money is not the final thing in the world. I expect everybody in the world to be living healthy. That's the first point every government must take in place, so that we see a healthy world once again. So let's see how it unfolds. But again, congratulations to Mr. Trump upon being elected as the President of the United States of America, and a big reshuffle in the health system of America, and also in a way is going to make the world great again. So we need to move into a very healthy lifestyle of daily exercises, eating good food, and also doing a lot of work in this health system to see that we improve, making right policies that really impacts on the health of everyone in this world, other than sponsoring these big companies, and the industrial food complex, coupled with the drug companies who make a lot of drugs so that they get themselves rich and rich again. So these are the different approaches that we are going to put, and we need to get into the system to see how effective we can do this. So thanks so much for watching, and we'll meet in the next videos.